I should also start recording again so people know, hey, I'm going to be playing Dragon Age again for the first time. Again. Well, okay, so, obviously, I need to record this for YouTube, but, um, I did try one. I played it like once, but I wasn't able. Um, you know the um, I think I was only able to play it like once before everything started like really. Um, you know, I was trying to see if I could play it more while I was trying to study, but it wasn't really working out very well. So I only attempted it once and couldn't. I only got so far, on the first attempt on it. So I've never played this game before. So this is gonna be, you know, pretty much a blind playthrough. First time playing it. So um, let's see. Do, 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 do. Okay, so I'm gonna be okay with backseating. Oh, I didn't get rid of that. Oh well. It's gonna be a casual playthrough. There's no multiplayer. There's no playing with viewers. There's no co-op. There's no beginners welcome, so I mean, don't necessarily need to worry about that. So, um, please no spoilers. There we go. Seeing that this is an RPG, I don't know everything that happened in the game. Matter of fact, I've never really heard much about this game, other than the fact that, it was, you know, everybody talked about it when it was first released. But I didn't have like the hardware to play it back in the day, so I could never, I wasn't able to do anything with it back then, or I wasn't able to, um, I wasn't able to play the game when it first came out. So, um, I heard about it obviously, but I was never able to play it myself. So, um, and this won the poll a long time ago. I put up a poll uh, for my viewers um, to vote on, which game that I was going to be playing next. Because I forget exactly um, what it was replacing back then, but I mean it's been what close to it's been about a year, if not two, since I played it last time. So it's been a while. Um, so we're gonna be kind of starting this back up again to see, well, hopefully to play through the entire storyline. Now, hopefully it's not going to be along the lines of Skyrim, where it's going to be like thousands upon thousands of side quests that I'll never be able to get through the main quest. Um, the so um, matter of fact, I never actually finished Skyrim either. So that's on my list of things that I want to finish as well. Another game that, I've done all the like the side quests and stuff like that, but I was never able to actually finish the game properly. So I may put that on the list at some point in time. Now, for anybody that's wondering, seeing that I'm doing um, full week or daily streams here, um, I'll be playing Dragon Age every Monday from here on out for the foreseeable future. Um, I have I updated my schedule down below on my Twitch about page, so you can kind of see what my plans are along those lines. So go check that out if you're curious as to what I'm going to be playing next, or the days on which what games I'm going to be playing. So, but yeah, looks like we are kind of ready to go for the most part here. So, I think I've pretty much said everything that I kind of need to say. So, oh, I forgot about this. From what I understand, like Awakening was like was like the first game that came on out, if I'm not mistaken, or at least if I remember correctly. Crazy mentioned the fact that Dragon Age Awakening was the very first game that was released, and then Origins was kind of like the backstory of it. It was released afterwards, and it had like the backstory or something along those lines. I've never played either one of these, so but or I could be completely wrong. And Origins could have been the first one, and Awakening could have been the sequel afterwards. I don't know. Well, we're playing Awakening, or we're playing Origins. I remember playing Origins before, so. And so is the Golden City, blackened with every step you take. In my hall, marvel at perfection, for it is fleeting. You have brought sin to heaven and doom upon all the world. I'm getting a little thirsty here, so I'm gonna grab something to drink here.
The Chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead, they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption.
I remember this intro.
They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless.
Let me know if the game audio is too loud. It seems a little loud for me.
The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. It may even be too late, for I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
The army marches. Now, if I remember correctly, I was going through like character creation. That took a little bit of time last. Right, and each one had their own different stories to it. Oh gosh. I kind of really wish I remembered what I selected last time. Um, um, I think I was trying to go with like the Magi, if I remember correctly, like an elf Magi. If I remember correctly. Because I didn't necessarily want to be playing like the standard, I didn't want to go with like the standard, like, uh, human warrior. Right, I think this is what I did last time. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. Um, presets. Hmm. Kind of like his facial structure. Not quite sure about his hair though. So skin. Let's see, hair. Just lighten up his hair a bit. Not white. I want it to be more blonde, but they don't really have a good, like, I mean, this is the best blonde that they got. This seems more gray. That's white. That's red, or orange, red, brown. dark brown. Brown, blackish, and then black. So yeah, okay. Let's see. Eye color. Okay, I'm not even seeing a difference in the eye color there, guys. What the hell? Okay. Can't really see the eye color to even see whether or not that's actually changing or anything along those lines. Maybe they have no, maybe mages have no eye color. Maybe they're like a preset eye color. Who knows? um, okay. Um, Mouth. Um, I mean that's okay. He's very his cheeks are really like in though. It's let me see if I can. Oh, that didn't really help. um, Wait. Oh, come on. Oh, that's moving out the bone like right there. Okay. I'm trying to get that little center area out. But I'm not seeing any way to change that at all. Oh, jeez. It looks like, you know, his cheeks are like in his mouth. It's like, can you not? Can you allow for his have more like puffy cheeks? I don't really see any way to change that. Now let me turn this back into something that looks like maybe somewhat normal from. You know what? No, let's do full on that. Although it still looks very odd, like right there. Okay, that is the cheeks, shallow and full. I don't know. It's cheeks are very weird in this game. It looks like. Oh well. Let's see. Um, Ears. Ear size looks fine. Let me raise up the ears a little bit more. Okay, that didn't really raise it up all that much. Okay, well, not much else that I can really do about that. Um, Portrait looks fine. I'm not really gonna be... The portrait looks... Oh, what the heck is his face? What the heck is his face? What is that expression? Uh, okay. Let's see. That one's not that much better. Okay. What are you going for there, game? What the hell? What kind of expression is that? Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. I kind of like this one a little bit. I mean, I don't like the sunken in cheeks, but I mean, the raised eyebrows, interesting. Um, all right. Voice. Um, what was it again?
No! It is gone! I should do something else. I need buy, please. Till we meet again.
Hmm.
How do you do?
Right. Casting, focus. Not even a scratch? Scoot!
Greetings. Well, that didn't work. Well, this is odd. My weapon is useless.
How's that odd?
Move aside. Till we meet again.
Greetings. Blast it! I have lost the spell. This weapon does nothing. I must get by.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Ah! There went the spell. I need something new!
Move aside, please. Farewell.
I forget exactly which one I chose last time.
Oh no, that won't do.
I'm kind of liking the suave.
Greetings.
Violent? Wait, what?
Oh, my spell! What does it take to kill these things? You're in my way.
This doesn't sound violent at all.
Goodbye.
Yeah, not at all.
Don't be foolish. Oh, my spell!
Sounds like someone that just became like a teenager, it almost seems. Alright.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Now that sounds suave. Okay. Okay. Let me go with an old name that I like to use for my elves. Okay, apparently I can't change the surname. Okay, well. Right. Attributes. Strength measures character's physical prowess, directly affects the damage character deals in physical combat, or also contributes to the accuracy of melee attacks. High strength is essential for warriors, in particular if they wish to wield two-handed weapons. Nearly as critical for rogues, so not that helpful for mages. Understood. Dexterity, measure of agility, reflexes, and balance. Higher dexterity improves the character's chance to hit, makes the character more likely to dodge incoming blows, and contributes to the damage dealt by piercing weapons like daggers or arrows. Archery and dual weapon fighting styles demand high dexterity to master, making this attribute a favorite for rogues, which isn't I mean, dodging is nice, you know, um, but willpower represents a character's determination and mental fortitude. With high willpower, mages can cast more spells thanks to a deeper mana pool. For warriors and rogues, willpower grants more stamina for combat techniques and special attacks. So I mean, casting more spells is helpful. Magic is the measure of a character's natural affinity for the arcane. This attribute is crucial for mages, since it directly increases a character's spell power score, which determines the potency of all spells. The magic attribute also determines how effective potions, poultices, and salves are for all classes. So, um, so basically, quality and quantity. um, Cunning determines how well a character learns and reasons. Most skills, such as herbalism or combat tactics, require a quick mind to master. An observant eye can more easily find weaknesses in enemy armor. Rogues benefit most from this statistic, as many of their class abilities and special attacks rely on the subtlety reading the target, not raw strength. Um, I mean, mages should also have a fair amount of cunning as well, but yeah. Constitution represents health and resilience. Higher constitution directly increases the amount of damage a character could take before falling in the battlefield. I mean, this is also something that, would be helpful for a mage in the sense that, they won't die quickly, seeing that they most likely won't be having like the best armor or anything along those lines. But I mean, it's also, um, I mean, the magic is supposed to try to counter that as well, but I don't know how good their magic system here is. So, how? Okay, so I can put all of my points into magic. And if I remember correctly, I can't, I do get additional points as I level, I think. So it's not like, I'm going to be like stuck at this. Now, I don't know how, what the cap is for um, for the points for the attributes. Um, will there be an actual capping point or not? I don't really know. Um, but I mean, potency is also you know good overall, especially if you have some really decent spells. But we'll see. Okay. So we got one skill point right at the moment. We apparently have herbalism as a skill right off the bat, it looks like. Combat tactics, passive. Character can formulate strategies quickly in battle and consequently gain combat stat and tactics slot. Let's see. Poison making. Survival. Let's see. Trap making. Stealing. Coercion. Okay, so gotcha. So I already have herbalism and the combat tactics, and obviously I can't bump up to the next level on either one of those. So, um, let's see. Which one's a good one for mages from here on out? I'm thinking combat training because of the mages can take more damage from an attack before it interrupts their spell casting. That's helpful. I really don't like when your spells are interrupted. It really irritates the living daylights out of me. The fact that your spells can be interrupted. Don't really like that kind of mechanic. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense a little bit. Like if you're okay, if you're like taking a long time to kind of talk out like the spell, like you're reading through the spell book and you're kind of, saying the spell or something along those lines, then it makes sense. Like you're saying some magical words and there you go. So if somebody hits you while you're trying to say, cast this defensive spell, and someone hits you and you're like, girl, like, cast this defensive, sure, okay, I get it. But, you know, some other like magic, uh, there's other um, magic systems that really don't have that like requirement. Like some spells can be just cast, like you're just casting a spell because you're just so quick at it that it's just super fast, super easy to do. You're not like speaking out thousands upon words just to cast that one spell or anything along those lines. So I don't know. I think I'll go with that one because I don't want to have my spells interrupted. Okay. We got 2 points to spend. We already have Arcane Bolt. And I don't have anything else. Let's see. Got Flame Blast, Rock Armor, Winter Grass. Lightning. Friendly fire is possible, and that's what I'm. That's why I'm not really that all that interested in lightning, unfortunately. The fact that you have friendly fire is like it's so irritating, especially if you have like if you're for a mage, for example, if you have an ally that is kind of being your tank, friendly fire is not going to be helping out your tank all that well. So, um, is there any particular magic attack that doesn't have friendly fire in its category? Doesn't seem like it. Okay. Um, Now I don't know what the best um like I don't know like the meta like hey you always want to pick this particular spell or anything along those lines. So I don't know. So I'm obviously if you're gonna be please don't say anything along the lines of like oh my god you picked this spell you're such a fool or anything along those lines. Please don't do that. um, Oh, right. This depletes your mana. It puts up a shield and it depletes your mana. Right. So that's not great. I mean, if a mage gets his mana depleted, then you're pretty much screwed. You know. Um, let's see. Walking bomb. Friendly fire is possible. Friendly fire is possible. I mean, animate dead can be helpful, but obviously you need to be able to, kill off your targets fast enough. So, um, stuns enemies caught in the sphere. Friendly fire is possible. Wait. That's weird. Not quite sure what it means by the friendly fire is possible. I mean, obviously it's like you can cast a spell on friendlies, but I mean, it's not really doing any kind of damage to them. So, I don't know. Um, Crush in prison. Okay, so I can see here requires 30 magic, so this one's 33 magic, so obviously um, magic can go up fairly high overall, so 36. Um, I only have 2 points to spend, so I gotta be kind of careful with this. Um, hmm. I mean, the arcane here looks like just standard, you know, spells, but I mean, at least there's no friendly fire to it at all, so. All electricity has friendly fire. God damn, man. I don't know if Winter's Grasp does any kind of damage whatsoever. I mean, it obviously, does slowing on the movement speed, but I don't really see, I don't really know if there's any kind of actual damage being done there. So I'm kind of hesitant on selecting that. But I mean, out of all the friendly fires, this one probably has the least amount. Well, so does the rock portion of it as well. I mean, you have 3 friendly fires there, you have 2, and you have 4. It's like, oh god. Oh gosh. Okay, so what I'm thinking about doing, I mean, I have the arcane bolt here. So that will give me some amount of damage at the very beginning. I'm thinking, I believe there was potentially an ally that I could have like fairly near the beginning. So I might just go with like the heal to kind of keep them active, and then maybe do like a drain life to kind of keep me alive. That's what I'm currently thinking right at this moment in time. I mean, I would love the electricity, you know, because I'm always a fan of like the chain lightning kind of attack spells, but I don't like the friendly fire. I don't like the fact that you have the potential of, you know, hitting or potentially killing your allies. You know, I don't know how, you know, I don't know this game well enough to, um, you know, is there going to be like a reduction in damage that you'll do to your allies? You know, is it like minuscule in terms of like, you know, how much your damage your allies get versus, you know, what the enemy gets? Or is it the same? And therefore, if I'm like spamming magic into an area, am I going to be killing off, you know, any allies that I might find versus the enemy? It's like, you know, so I don't know. It's weird. Um, I really don't like the idea of friendly, you know, friendly fire um, magic. But um, in terms of, well, okay, I see this as like another, like different viewpoint of magic systems kind of thing. You know, is your mage well adept to be able to control, um, you know, how his spells affect his allies? You know, like, can he, you know, if he's casting out his spell, his electricity spell, for example, can he kind of guide where it goes? Or is it just as simple of, you know, or is it, you know, basically it seems like this system where it's like, I call upon the clouds to use a lightning bolt in this general area, and anybody that gets caught in that area, well, good luck, you know. Don't really know, you know. Um, okay, I'm not gonna go for hard or nightmare, and easy. Yeah, no, I should be fine with normal for now, especially for my first time playing it. So we'll just go with that
On
for
a
the time being
cliff
now.
overlooking the dark waters of Lake Calenhad stands the tower fortress that is home to the Circle of Magi. This tower is the only place in Ferelden where mages may study their art among others of their kind. Within the high stone walls, the Circle practices its magic and trains apprentices in the proper use of their powers. But the Circle Tower is as much a prison as a refuge. The ever-vigilant Templars of the Chantry watch over all mages, constantly alert for any sign of corruption. This gilded cage is the only world you know. Found to be sensitive to magic at a young age, you were torn from your family and grafted here as an apprentice.
Yeah, so I remember
Now,
this particular
that
scene.
apprenticeship is nearly over.
So I did
All that
pick
remains
Magi
is
last
the
time.
final test, the harrowing.
Magic exists to serve man, and never to rule over him. Thus spoke the prophet Andraste as she cast down the Tevinter Imperium, ruled by mages who had brought the world to the edge of ruin. Your magic is a gift, but it's also a curse. For demons of the Dream Realm, the Fade, are drawn to you, and seek to use you as a gateway into this world.
This is why the harrowing exists. The ritual sends you into the Fade, and there you will face a demon, armed with only your will.
Ah, right. Oh, I don't know if I actually enabled um I don't think I enabled the haha, closed captioning. Sorry about that. Had the option early to do that, but I forgot to handle that. I'll have to do it once I get into main combat here, so apologies on that.
It will turn you into an abomination, and the Templars will be forced to slay you. This is Lyrium, the very essence of magic, and your gateway into the Fade.
The harrowing is a secret out of necessity, child. Every mage must go through this trial by fire. As we succeeded, so shall you. Keep your wits about you, and remember the Fade is a realm of dreams. The spirits may rule it, but your own will is real.
The apprentice must go through this test alone, First Enchanter. You are ready.
Tactical view. The game can be played from a variety of tactical viewpoints. Use the mouse wheel to bring your camera down to exploration mode. Scroll forward. While pause, you can issue orders to your character. Right click on your desired destination. Your character now has a move order. You can issue orders in real time or while paused. Press space to unpause now. Lots of new quests. Invasive healing. Okay. Apparently, I think this was like, you know, DLC and all that, but I mean, obviously I can't take it right at this moment in time because I don't have that kind of strength. So I don't think there was any other additional items there. It is kind of irritating that it's like, hey, you know, you know, this DLC, you know, hey, you have blood dragon plate. That's great. That does nothing for a mage. Oh well. To equip new items, you'll need to open the inventory screen. Do so now by clicking the highlighted icon or pressing I. Well, I can't really equip that now, can I? To unequip, drag an item from its icon to the left side of the screen, back to your inventory, remove your character's armor or clothing now. I mean, to equip, drag items from your inventory directly onto your characters or their appropriate icon spaces, replace your armor or clothing now. Well, I can't really do that, so there you go. For easy access to consumable items, place them in your quick bar. Drag an item to your quick bar now. Okay. Let's see, what is this again? It is difficult to be sure what this scintillating, shimmering item really is, but just holding it makes you feel better. Um, this orb instantly restores some of the user's health. Gotcha. Alright. See, I don't really see anything else. New codex, Beyond Veil. I'll look at like the codexes and stuff like that later. I think if I'm not mistaken, there was a lot of codexes that I was able to get, like, you know, when I first played the game, but again, okay. And that was interesting that I was. Oh, ow, hey!
As you desire.
Okay, so it didn't seem like I was able to move and cast at the same time, or at least, you know, I was trying to do the one ability and it wasn't really casting it, so it's that particular magic system where you have to kind of remain immobile to do any kind of spells. Can you?
All right.
At least I have the drain life that's helping me kind of restore my health and, you know, hit points back up, so that's good. These guys aren't hitting me all that hard, so that's also good. The cooldown's pretty terrible on the arcane bolt right at this moment in time. Hopefully I can find something that will bump up the activation or the, you know, speed up the cooldown time. So I can at least combine the arcane bolt and the drain life together, so that's good. And thankfully the you know, these enemies aren't that strong yet, so, which is good. I mean, you know, obviously you don't necessarily want enemies that are like super difficult.
Someone else thrown to the wolves, as fresh and unprepared as ever. It isn't right that they do this, the Templars. Not to you, me, anyone. You think you're really here? In that body? You look like that because you think you do. It's always the same. But it's not your fault. You're in the same boat I was. Allow me to welcome you to the Fade. You can call me, well, Mouse.
Not your real name, I take it. Yeah.
No, I don't remember anything from before. The Templars kill you if you take too long, you see. They figure you failed, and they don't want something getting out. That's what they did to me, I think. I have no body to reclaim, and you don't have much time before you end up the same.
How long do I have exactly? He probably doesn't really know. That's not gonna happen to me. No, that's not true.
Don't waste time with that talk. You don't want to end up like this. There's something here.
Oh, I forgot to
Just
change
for an
the
apprentice like
closed
you.
captionings.
You have to face
Apologies.
the creature, a demon, and resist it. If you can. That's your way out. Or your opponents, if the Templars wouldn't kill you. A test for you. A tease for the creatures of the Fade.
And unfortunately, they're not showing the text right at this moment in time up there. Or at least not all of it.
You would be a fool to just attack everything you see. What you face is powerful, cunning. There are others here. Other spirits. They will tell you more. Maybe help. If you can believe anything you see. I'll follow, if that's all right. My chance was long ago. But you may have a way out.
Okay. Let's try to activate the it's definitely not online. Is there no closed captioning at all? Subtitles, there it is. Ambient dialogue. Normally it's like music plays or something along those lines. Yeah, let's do that. You know, sometimes that's helpful for some people. So.
A dangerous spirit is not far. Don't go near it unless you're ready to fight.
All right. Okay, he is still following. You know, obviously, that's where the spirit is. We're gonna hold off on clicking on that for the time being. Let's move on. Oh. Where is he? There he is. Okay, what the heck?
Ah, wonderful!
Okay, that's irritating. It wasn't locking on to my attacker, so, okay, let's go see what this is all about. Get that codex, the Black Sea.
And so I shall.
Okay, take all that. Nope. Okay. Combat system is a little wonky right at the moment. Let's trying to having a little bit of a hard time trying to focus on the enemy when they're attacking me.
Another
So
spirit this way. It never seemed equal to its name to me.
Another mortal thrown into the flames and left to burn, I see. Your mages have devised a cowardly test. Better you were pitted against each other to prove your mettle with skill, and to be sent unarmed against a demon. You are not the first sent here for such testing, nor shall you be the last, I suspect. That you remain means you have not yet defeated your hunter. I wish you a glorious battle to come.
let's see, what kind of spirit are you?
I am Valor, a warrior spirit. I hone my weapons in search of the perfect expression of combat.
What else do you know about the
Is
helm?
that what your test is called? I know little of your mortal ways. I do know that a demon has been called, and told that a meal awaits. It will not, cannot leave, until one of you is dead. They are brought into being by my will. I understand that in your world, mages are the only ones who can will things into being. Those mortals who cannot must lead such hollow, empty lives. Without a doubt. In this realm, everything that exists is the expression of a thought. Do you think these blades be steel? The staves be wood? Do you believe they draw blood? A weapon is a single need for battle, and my will makes that need reality. Do you truly desire one of my weapons? I will give one to you, if you agree to duel me first. Valor shall test your mettle as it should be tested.
Okay, don't think I have enough willpower to do that.
If I believe you capable of slaying the demon, I will stop the duel and give you the staff. If I find you unworthy, I will slay you. I trust those rules are simple enough to remember, mortal.
Let's see. I mean, I could still try, but I doubt that I would be able to do this one.
How dare you accuse me? I am no demon preying upon helpless mortals to steal their essence. I am a being of honor and valor. I am a warrior.
Yeah.
I should hope not. I am helping you, mortal, whether you believe it or not. But I do not go back on my word. Do you wish to duel or not?
Okay, let's try it.
As you wish, mortal. Do you understand the rules I explained to you? Our duel begins now. Fight with valor! Off we go in combat! Enough. Your strength is sufficient to the task.
There we go.
The staff is yours.
Of course it is. Attack. Yeah, no.
Short of battling the demon for you? No.
Will it stay with me when I leave the Fade? Most likely not.
I suspect not.
Uh,
May you find glory in all your achievements, mortal.
Alright. Inventory. Valor staff. There we go. Don't know if there's anything.
You have Valor's staff. There is nothing else I can do for you.
Alright. Saving game. Okay. I don't know why it randomly decided to do that, but sure. I'm trying to hit the one. I'm trying to hit the one ability on this guy, but there we go. Oh, what the? Okay. Okay, nothing else. Thank you. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't like auto lock on the enemy.
Be cautious. There is another spirit here. Not the one hunting you, but still.
Saving game again? Sure.
So, you are the mortal being hunted. And the small one, is he to be a snack for me?
I don't like this. He's not going to help us. We should go.
No matter. The demon will get you eventually. And perhaps there will even be scraps left.
It's a demon. Maybe even more powerful than the one chasing after you.
Be gone. Surely you have better things to do than bother sloth, mortal. Oh, I tire of you already. I am a spirit of sloth. Yes, a creature of the Fade. Unlike yourself, mortals are ever the visitors here. Still, you serve your function. Only the mortals like yourself are truly annoying. Many mortals dream. They come here often, but you are not one of those. You are aware, a mortal with power and will, the sort of creature that some spirits hunger for. I might be inclined for such a meal myself. It would be interesting to see the mortal world through your eyes, live inside your form, but I'm disinclined to begin such a struggle. As you mortals might term it, but not all demons are demons. Worry about the one hunting you. You have a very nice staff. Why would you need me? Go. Use your weapon, since you have earned it. Be valorous.
He looks powerful. It might be possible that he could teach you to be like him.
Like me? You mean teach the mortal to take this form? Why? Most mortals are too attached to their forms to learn the change. You, on the other hand, little one, might be a better student. You let go of the human form years ago.
I don't think I'd make a very good bear. How would I hide? We faced more in this place than you can imagine. Fear is just one more thing. But you are right. Hiding doesn't help. I'm sorry, it's the Fade. It changes you. I'll try. I'll try to be a bear. If you'll teach me.
That's nice. But teaching is so exhausting. Away with you now.
I told you he wasn't going to help us.
Yeah, it's...
You wish to learn my form, little one? Then I have a challenge for your friend. Answer 3 riddles correctly, and I will teach you. Fail, and I will devour you both. The decision is yours.
Oh, right. I remember doing this before, and I really hate riddles. I'm really bad at them. But, yeah. Teach Mouse the bear form, I will kill you. Yeah, I mean, if he's saying that the demon itself is, if this guy's more powerful than the demon himself, then yeah.
Truly? Oh. Well, this gets more and more promising. My first riddle is this. I have seas with no water, coasts with no sand, towns without people, mountains without land. What am I?
I mean, desert does cover seas, but it doesn't cover the other 3. Um, boat makes no sense whatsoever. Moon makes no sense because of towns. An idea also makes no sense. A dream doesn't really make that much sense. So I'm thinking for a map. I can't remember if that's correct or not, though.
Correct. Let's move on.
Because the map has all of those, but aren't actually those items.
But often held. If you have wit, you'll use me well. What am I?
I'm really touched, but often held. If you have wit, you'll use me well. What am I? Okay, a handle is often touched, so that doesn't really work. Tongue, really touched, but you'll hold your tongue, and if you have wit, you can use it well. So tongue is possible. Temper. Depends on the person. Could be often held. But really touched. Depends on the person. If you have wit, you'll use me well. Wit and temper don't really match very well, so I don't think that works. Breath. Breath you don't really touch, or you don't really... I mean, you can hold your breath, but... touched? No, that doesn't really work. If I have wit, I can use it well. No, that doesn't really work either. A sword is often touched, so I mean that's not really useful either. Intelligence, really touched. Again, not really that Another one that's not really that um, that doesn't really match very well. So I'm thinking tongue out of the six. Now here's the thing. Here's what I like about this is that it actually provides the answer. If I was to try to answer it directly, I would have no clue. I would be like, no idea, or at least I wouldn't. Uh, I would have a hard time trying to figure out the answer on some of these. So if I wasn't given like the listing of available choices, so
Yes, your witty tongue. Fair enough. One more try, shall we? Often will I spin the tale, never will I charge a fee. I'll amuse you an entire eve, but alas, you won't remember me. What am I?
annoying Riddler. um, you're probably gonna remember an annoying Riddler. Um, a liar will never charge a fee and will often spin a tale. But will they amuse you? Maybe, maybe not. And you might remember them, so this doesn't really work. Music. Music is often referred to as spinning a tale, and if it's playing, it won't charge a fee for you. It will amuse you, but you have the potential of remembering it, so music doesn't really work either. A book, spin a tale, yes. Never charge a fee, yes. Music for an entire evening, sure. But won't remember me? Yeah, nope, that won't work either. Spider, spin a tail. Spider, spin a tail. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily work either. Never will I charge a fee. Again, well, spiders don't charge a fee. Spiders don't really amuse you, so yeah, this one doesn't really work that much either. But this one, often I will spin a tail. The dream does that. Never will I charge a fee. Again, saying true. I'll amuse you for an entire eve. Could be, yeah. I mean, depends on the dream. But alas, you won't remember me. And again, that also can be true. So I'm gonna go for a dream.
You are correct. Rather apropos here in Fade, no? But you've won my challenge and proven yourself an amusing distraction. So, I shall teach you my form. Now, listen carefully.
Like this? Am I a bear? It feels heavy.
Close enough. Go then, and defeat your demon, or whatever you intend to do. I grow weary of your mortal prattling.
Okay. One thing that I want to do is I want to, obviously there's a lot of details that keep on showing up here. So I want to kind of check out, if there's like any other like quest details or anything along those lines. Obviously I haven't gained another level, so I'm not getting any bumps up in skills or anything along those lines right at this point. Nothing to worry about there. Current quests. Premium content, okay. That's currently doing right now. No completed quests, interesting. We got some creatures already, interesting. Wisp, wolf, sloth demon. Alright. No items. Okay, we have that. Let's see. No quest-related codexes. Okay. Controls. Combat basics. Mage. You're in a combat situation, a master of the battlefield. Zoom out, scroll backwards. Simply left click on the spell in your quick bar and then left click on your target. When you run out of mana, you cannot cast any more spells. Okay. I mean, I can use, what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to like hit the 1 and 2 button to try to activate it, but okay, so I guess I'm just gonna have to like do the click the 1 button and then do the left click on whoever I'm targeting. So controlling party members. New party members joined you. You can take control of this character directly by left clicking on his or her portrait and body. You use the tactics menu to adjust how the AI controls them. Alright. I'll have to remember to do that right now so that, our bear friend can be, can handle the demon. Explore the world. Right click on the ground to select a destination. Yeah, I don't really like the right click option typically because, I don't know how my character will move. So, um, yeah, especially with when you have ground that is, um, highs and lows kind of thing. If you're right clicking, it can be um, can be problematic at times. So, um, okay. Friendly fire powers of magic are significant, but it can be uncontrollable. Magics have access to spells like Fireball that can affect the whole area rather than just a single target. While these spells are useful against groups of enemies, they are also indiscriminate and will harm friend and foe alike. At the easy difficulty setting, however, party members take no damage from friendly fire. Gotcha. I mean, makes sense, right? Um, Inventory, sure. Journal. Um, okay. Plot helpers. Plot helpers are markers on your current area map that indicates where you need to go to progress in your active quest. Gotcha. Okay. Spell combinations. Okay. Notes. Credits. Okay. These day pranks credits. Okay, sure. Books and songs. Nothing there. Characters. Knight Commander Gregor. Magic is a gift, but it's also a curse. First Enchanter Irving. Okay, it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot of characters in this game, apparently. If there's only like 30, or at least like major named characters, I should say. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to be shown there. Culture and history, lots of culture and history there, but obviously nothing there that I can see. Magic and religion, the Black City. No traveler into the Fade can fail to spot the Black City. It is one of the few constants of the ever-changing place. No matter where one might be, the city is visible. Always far off, but it seems that the only rule of geography in the Fade is that all points are equal distance from the Black City. The chant teaches that Black City was once the seat of the Maker, from whence he ruled the Fade. Left empty when men turn away from him, dreamers do not go there, nor do spirits. Even the most powerful demons seem to avoid the place. Interesting. It was golden and beautiful once, so the story goes, until a group of powerful Magister Lords from the Deventer Imperium devised a means of breaking in. When they did so, their presence defiled the city, turning it black, which was perhaps the least of their worries. The harrowing. Amongst princesses of the circle, nothing is regarded with more fear than the harrowing. Little is known about this rite of passage, and that alone would be cause for dread. It's well understood that only those princes who pass this trial are ever seen again, return as full members of the Circle of Magi. For those who fail, nothing is known. Perhaps they were sent away in disgrace, perhaps they were killed on the spot. I heard one patently ridiculous rumor among the circle in which claimed that failed apprentices were transformed into pigs, fattened up, and served at dinner to the senior enchanters? Ew. Ugh. But I could provide no evidence that Ravani Circle ate any particular quantity of pork. That'd be quite disgusting if that was indeed the case. Challenging enough to tell the difference between the Fade and creatures. I want to say something after I get done reading this, but you know, just want to give it a little hint that I have something on my mind right at the moment, but I'll get to it. Creatures that live within it, let alone between one type of spirit and another. In truth, there are little that distinguishes them, even for the most astute mages, since spirits are not physical entities and are therefore not restricted to recognizable forms, or even having no form at all. One can never tell for certain what is alive, what is merely part of the scenery. It is therefore advisable for the inexperienced researcher to greet all objects he encounters. Typically, we misuse the term spirit to refer only to the benign, or at least at the very least, malevolent creatures of the Fade. But in truth, all the denizens of the realm beyond the veil are spirits. As the Chant of Light notes, everything within the Fade is a mimicry of our world, a poor imitation, for the spirits do not remotely understand what they are copying. It is no surprise that much of the Fade appears like a manuscript translated from Deventer into Orlesian and back again by drunken initiates. Okay. In general, spirits are not complex, or rather, they are not complex as we understand such things. Each one seizes upon a single facet of human experience: rage, hunger, compassion, hope. And this one idea becomes their identity. We classify it as demons, those spirits who identify themselves with darker human emotions and ideas. The most common and weakest form of the demon one encounters in Fade is the rage demon. They are much like perpetually boiling kettles, for they exist only to vent hatred, but rarely have an object to hate. Somewhat above these are the hunger demons, who do little but eat and attempt to eat everything they encounter, including other demons. This is rarely successful. Then there are the sloth demons. These are the first intelligent creatures one typically finds in Fade. They are dangerous only on those rare occasions that they can be induced to give up and do harm, or to get up and do harm. Desire demons are more clever and far more powerful, using all forms of barbarity to induce mortals into their realms. Wealth, love, vengeance, whatever lies closest to your heart. The most powerful demons yet encountered are the pride demons, perhaps because they, among all their kind, most resemble men. Okay. Sloth demon. That's a lot. I'll skip that for now. Yeah, I'll skip these descriptions. Alright. Conversation, history. Interesting. downloadable content. Alright. Don't think there's anything else I can...
I've taught the mouse. Do not persist in bothering me. I'm tired.
Alright. I don't think there's anything else here for me. Oh right, I wanted to see... There it is. Target between medium and long range. Nearest visible. Okay. Let's see. This party member will attack enemies the moment they are visible. The character will fight back if attacked in melee combat and will chase down enemies, but will not flee the location of a harmful area of effect attack unless directed. None of this party member's custom tactics are applicable. The character will begin a default attack routine. This party member will prefer ranged weapons and will automatically attack from range when enemies are visible. If attacked in melee combat, the character will fight back but will not chase enemies if they move away. This party member will flee the location of harmful area of effect attack. None of the party members' custom tactics are applicable. The character will begin a default attack routine. Okay. This party member will not fight back when attacked in melee combat and will try to run away from enemies if not engaged in combat. This character will try to stay close to the player. This party member will flee the location of a harmful area of effect attack if none of the party. Okay. Defensive. This party member will fight back if attacked in melee combat, but will not chase enemies if they move away and will try to remain close to the player. This party member will flee the location of harmful area of effect attack. Okay. Party member will fight back if attacked in melee combat, but will not chase enemies if they move away and will not try to remain close to the player. Yeah, I think I'd rather go for aggressive overall for him. At least for the time being. So...
Perhaps we should scare them off or something.
There we go. That took a little bit. Again, I was having a little bit of difficulty, like, targeting the enemies, so I'm afraid that I'm gonna have a hard time with that one, it seems. So... trying to see if there's like any like additional like codex items that I should be aware of. Trying to see if there's like maybe a bottom of that pit or not. But does not seem like it, so. Okay. Looks like we are ready to go on this, so go over and...
And there is a spirit of rage.
Not quite sure what this is all about. Let's see. Journal. Codex. Controls. What do we got for controls here? Tactics. Right, okay. Easy enough. Let's see, what's this? Okay. It's known to command a higher price than diamond. Gotcha, okay. Lyrium allows mages to enter fade fully aware. Okay, good to know. Prolonged use becomes addictive. Cravings unbearable. Oh boy, okay. Okay, well that's interesting. Maybe I missed some details on that, but... Hi, Demon.
And so it comes to me at last. Soon I shall see the land of the living with your eyes, creature. You shall be mine, body and soul. They are welcome to try. So this creature is your offering, Mouse. Another plaything as per our arrangement.
I'm not offering you anything. I don't have to help you anymore.
Oh. And after all those wonderful meals we have shared, now suddenly the mouse has changed the rules?
I'm not a mouse now, and soon I won't have to hide. I don't need to bargain with you.
We shall see.
All right.
As you desire.
Can I?
And how's that?
There we go.
You did it. You actually did it.
Well, no,
When
not
you
really.
came, I hoped that maybe you might be able to, but I never really thought any of you were worthy.
The ones you betrayed before me were times.
What? They were not as promising as you. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, no.
I don't remember their names.
Yeah, no.
I don't even remember my own name. It's the Fade, and the Templars killing me. Like they tried with you. You defeated a demon. You completed your test. With time, you will be a master enchanter with no equal. And maybe there's hope in that for someone as small and as forgotten as me. If you want to help, there may be a way for me to leave here, to get a foothold outside. You just need to want to let me in.
Yeah, no. I'm starting to think the other demon wasn't my test. Yeah, that's it right there. Let you in? What are you proposing there? I'll find mages away from the Templars. We'll get you out. Yeah, that's you know, not evil whatsoever. Not my problem, mouse.
What? What do you... Of course it was. What else is here that could harm an apprentice of your potential?
You.
You are a smart one.
Simple killing is a warrior's job. The real dangers of the Fade are preconceptions, careless trust, pride. Keep your wits about you, mage. True tests never end.
Are you all right? Say something, please.
A demon! Die, demon! Jawan? Is that really their name? That'd be quite hilarious, you know. I say Jawan and it's like, but my name's Bob, or, you know, something crazy like that.
You're in the dormitory. Take a deep breath. You're safe. Oh, I'm glad you're all right. They carried you in this morning. I didn't even realize you'd been gone all night. I've heard about apprentices who never come back from harrowings. Is it really that dangerous? What was it like?
We're friends, but don't ask this. You know I can't tell you. It was harrowing. Test of ability, that's all. Stop pestering me. I'm not quite sure of the rules, but I'm assuming this one.
So much for friendship. I'll leave you alone then. And now you get to move to the nice mage's quarters upstairs. I'm stuck here and I don't know when they'll call me for my harrowing.
Yeah. Or they may be asking for you to be prepared for a meal.
I've been here longer than you have. Sometimes I think they just don't want to test me.
Could be.
The tranquil never go through a harrowing. You do the harrowing, the rite of tranquility, or you die. That's what happens.
You work too much, it's annoying. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be picking that one. What's the road to tranquility? That's something I'm interested in. And they're not gonna kill you. That's not exactly correct either. What does this have to do with you? Well, wow.
You've seen the tranquil around the tower, like Owain who runs the stockroom.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, not even cold. There's just nothing in him. It's like he's dead but still walking. His voice, his eyes are lifeless.
I think you're reading too much into it. What did they do to him?
He's been made tranquil. I don't know how they do it exactly, but you're cut off from the Fade. It takes away your magic abilities, along with your dreams and emotions.
That doesn't sound too bad. Oh yeah, yeah, perfect. Just don't go around at all with any emotions. I'm sure that's perfectly fine. Yeah. No emotions. How's that possible? Who knows? It's an option for those who fear the Halloween. I mean, that's not necessarily a good option. Um,
Apprentices can ask to be made tranquil if they fear the harrowing, but the Circle also forces tranquility on those they feel are weak, and sometimes they force it upon apprentices they think might be too dangerous as mages. I shouldn't waste your time with this. I was supposed to tell you to see Irving as soon as you woke up.
I should go talk to him immediately. I have no idea where, who Irving. Oh, right. No, Irving was the guy that I was talking to at the very beginning. Never mind.
He didn't tell me. About the harrowing, I'd guess, but you'd never know with Irving. You'd better not keep him waiting. We can speak later.
Where? Where is he? Every time you gain a level, your character and gains new abilities, improves statistics. Click on the plus button next to your character's portrait to level up. Okay. Oh, and do I have to select it now? Alright. Okay, so seeing that magic has a lot of need at this point in time, like there's quite a bit of um, like there's some levels that require up to, what was it, 36 in terms of um, magic. And I don't even know if that's like the max you could do. I'm thinking, let me try to get magic up to 36 as quickly as I can so that, you know, I won't have any of those prereqs. But at the same time, I'm also thinking maybe I should put some in willpower as well. So maybe I'll do, seeing that I have 3 attribute points here, maybe I could do 2 in magic and 1 in willpower, like that, and just kind of bump that up for each level until, you know, like I said, I don't know if there's any particular max value. Can I just keep on doing magic over and over and over again and up until, there's nothing left? Who knows? Um, okay, so I can select one particular spell. Rejuvenate. Boost to mana or stamina regeneration. That doesn't really seem very helpful. This one seems like a better version, at least for me. But it's only for an ally, so yeah. Okay. Significantly increasing mana and stamina regeneration for a short duration. That's great, but again, that's not like mass health rejuvenation. Oh well. Bonus to attack. Buff of paralysis might be nice. Spell Wisp. I mean, that could be helpful. You know, spell bonus to spell power is nice, but friendly fire. Let's see. Well, active the caster draws in nearby entropic energy, draining residual life force from any dead enemy nearby to heal the caster. So interesting. Friendly fire. Let's see. Disorienting seems like it might be a good one to have. But again, you know, these kind of spells might not be very effective against, you know, ones that are like potentially like bosses and stuff like that. Or at least more often than not, they tend to have higher resistances. So um, maybe I should go for like one of the primals. Seeing that I'm gonna be probably doing other things outside, and who knows if I'm gonna be in a like a party or have like a guardian or someone. So fuck it. Let's max out all of our damage.
Did you hear anything? Is he all right? Is he awake?
Why do you care? Are you best friends now?
I'm just curious. That Templar, Cullen, said it was the quickest, cleanest harrowing he'd ever seen. He must be so talented.
Someone sounds jealous.
I just know I'll be terrified when my time comes. Like Wendell was. He'd throw up every day for the next week just thinking about it.
Oh, lovely. Alright. Well, okay. Let's see. Apparently I can't talk to like normal NPCs. Oh, I can talk to...
Jowen's been acting weird all day. Have you seen him?
Okay. Nothing there. Bathtubs and the like, I would imagine. Vanity. Uh-huh. Interesting. Inspect. Small vial, protected, folded metal and dangling from a chain. Plus 1 to willpower. I mean, might as well. I don't have anything there, right? Okay, so Arbor Light obviously was good within the Fade, but not something usable right now, so... And I don't know when I'll be heading back into the Fade, so... Yeah. Cancel. We'll maybe put it down there for the time being, and... Although it's not like a numbered value, so that's interesting. But obviously, you know, I need to kind of use this for like when I'm hurt and I'm out of mana. Although I can't heal myself from the looks of it. You know, I might be able to do herbalism to kind of make, you know, some health potions for myself, but there's no magic to kind of heal me directly other than the drain life, so at least from the looks of it anyway.
This tower is too cold.
Hello there.
Hello. Okay. Nothing else? Nope. Okay. And you know, the staff is gone, so I mean there's that. But I mean, as our as the you know, the Knight of Valor stated, you know, the likelihood of it staying around was probably not going to happen. So, all right, what's in this chest?
As you desire.
Find trail is suitable for illustration and script. Okay. No idea what that's all about, but sure. Let's go around and steal everything from everybody, right? Metal door. Let's see, hold on.
Did you hear? Hear what? I heard they suspect someone of dabbling in blood magic. Why would anyone do something so stupid? That's a death sentence. That's what I hear anyway.
That's that really faded all of a sudden. Okay, I can't talk with him. Can't talk with him. I seem to have an X around this particular location, but I'm not quite sure exactly why it's there. There's another chest for me to apparently loot. Aha. This restores a portion of user's mana. Okay. Helpful. Don't know who actually owned it, but it's mine now. Wahahaha. Alright. Some apprentice matches.
I wish I could leave the tower once in a while.
How does it feel to be done with the harrowing?
Okay, let me see if there's anything else for me to steal. Oh, hello. Some more vanity. What's this? Small crystal. Can I equip item on this character? Plus 5 spear damage. Converts all damage to spear damage. Interesting. But I need a lot of strength for it. And that's also... I mean, I'll take it. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any, like, dangers of, like, hey, you're stealing from people. We're gonna go ahead and, like, arrest you or anything along those lines. They're not like, hey, you know, we need to, you know, they're not, like, showing, hey, you're stealing.
As you desire.
Hey, did you hear about that apprentice they're going to send for?
Shh.
There's moments where the dialogue dips down in volume, which is odd. Okay, obviously, door is locked. Can't unlock it right at the moment. Hey,
Yes,
Templar.
is there something you need?
That's a big door.
Yes, it is. Do you need something, or are you just here to state the obvious?
State the obvious, of course. Can you open the door?
The Knight Commander would have my head if I did that. Besides, I hear it takes no less than 4 grown men to open this door.
Okay. Can't leave
No,
him?
you may not. I'm surprised you ask. I would have thought you'd be used to this idea by now.
Why can't I leave?
Only mages on official circle business are allowed to leave the tower, and the first enchanter has not informed us of any mages leaving the tower today.
Is this the only way out of the tower?
The only safe one, as far as I know. There are windows on the higher levels, but surely you don't need me to warn you of the dangers of leaping from them. It never ends well.
What's out there?
Eldon, it's not very interesting. Mostly farms, the occasional river.
I should get going.
Make a smile fortune on you.
Oh, that's nice of you. Thank you.
Congratulations on the harrowing.
Oh, thank you. Hey, at least, you know, the brand has a little bit more to say than this particular Templar, but hey, you know. You know, I do appreciate when you actually have, like, more, you know, more potential dialogue with, you know, potential, and you know, more NPCs, but okay, we have a vase over
So
here.
I shall.
Loot, please. Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. We just have a random staff in the vase. Sure. That makes sense. And I'll go ahead and take it. Apparently there's no one stopping me from doing that, so... And I shall go ahead and equip that. Thank you very much. Awesome. It looks as though there's, you know, with the way the gates shine and stuff like that, it looks as though, you know, you should be able to like enter into these areas, because like, why fence them off in the first place? But I mean, there's nothing in there too, so it's like, okay, you know, it's just odd. Okay, well, we've been that way, and nothing else over there. We opened up this doorway, so let's go on here now and see what's in here. Another one of those blank rooms that have nothing in them, that are sealed off for some reason. Cabinet.
All right.
Buckle the winds. Okay. Belt for defense. Awesome. We'll go ahead and add that in. There we go. It doesn't auto-equip it. Like, you know, there's, like, for example, you know, hey, you know, I have hands and helmet here that are blank. The fact that it doesn't, like, auto-equip for the fact that you don't have anything in there seems, you know, is different than normal, I should say. But I can understand, like, if, like, you find, like, a curse item, you might not necessarily want that to be auto-equipped either, so. But I mean, you're not going to be finding, you know, it'd be very odd to find, like, cursed items in, if there is even cursed items, I'm just stating one of the things that is common for, you know, RPGs like this, you know, finding cursed items. But, you know, finding them in the beginners area, the tutorial area, yeah, probably not. Also, Wasn't that a bookshelf? Or is that a cabinet? More cabinet, okay. A belt's inside a cabinet makes sense. But at the same time, random cabinet that has belts in them? Shelves. Yeah, some more blank vellum. Parchment. Okay, I know that there's like a little stairway over there that heads down. I'm not gonna go there just yet.
With your will. Keep the flames steady. We don't want it sputtering and leaping about. That's what causes most of the injuries.
Injuries? But...
Steady. It reacts to your emotions. If you panic, it will... No. Breathe. You know, in my experience, flint and tinder works just as well. Maybe we should start with that.
Oof. Okay. Can't really... Ah, enchanter. Gotcha.
Good day to you.
This guy just did emotional damage to this apprentice over here. Emotional damage!
Can you tell where I burned off my hair? Is it very obvious?
Actually, no. You're good right at the moment. I don't really see any, like, differences overall. Okay, there's another apprentice mage. Let me go talk with her.
We're all really happy for you.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Let's see. Anything else in here?
Magic must serve man and not rule over him.
Very good. And what do you think that means? Can anyone tell me?
Only boys can do magic.
Nope.
Hey!
No, that's not what it means.
It means that magic should be used to help people, but we can't use our magic to force people to do what we want.
That's right. We should not abuse the gift the Maker has given us. I heard the Templars talking about chasing down a Malefica yesterday.
I have no idea what that is.
Does your mentor give you lots of homework too?
No idea.
I like ponies.
Sure. Understandable.
I remember when you were this age. Adorable.
Sure, okay. Oh, I forgot about this apprentice mage over here. Let's talk with her.
Gerda told me the Templars watch us while we bathe. I hope that's not true.
That would be a little creepy if they did.
Concentrate, hold the shield. All my power behind that spell, you would have been obliterated. I am not your enemy. Fear is your enemy. It is a weakness that can be exploited. No?
Once again.
Then stand firm and know you can resist whatever I throw at you. Again.
Alright.
I wonder when I'll get to go for my harrowing.
Okay, looks like both of those two are done. Sure. Already talked with her. Might have already talked with her like multiple times already, so.
How does it feel to be done with the harrowing?
Not really seeing any other things to get overall, so.
Did you hear the rumor about someone being a blood mage?
Yeah, a little bit.
The circle is so much nicer than the alienage, isn't it?
Sure. I have no idea what either of those mean. Okay, let's see. Second floor. Unfortunately, I have no idea where Irving is right at this moment in time. So, I'm assuming that he's probably going to be higher up in the upper levels. So, I want to see, you know, there's the doorway that looked as though it was going down. So, I'm kind of curious as to where it might lead. So, basement. Basement is dirty. Lots of cobwebs. That's not great. You guys need to clean up your basement a little bit more. Not possible to pick. Okay. So at some point in time, I'll probably be coming on back here to see what's inside the basement. And mage tower with a basement that's locked from anybody. Yeah, they're hiding some secrets back there.
Of course.
Alright, well, apparently I can't go that way. I mean, they could have just blocked that, but, yeah, whatever. Okay, up to the second floor we go. Got nowhere else to go. Okay. Again, with your rooms without anything inside them. Tranquil.
Good day.
Welcome to the Circle stockroom of magical items. My name is Owain. How may I assist you?
I think this is the guy that, you know, he was talking about before.
The stockroom stores components used in magical and alchemical experiments. Do you require something? I voluntarily submitted to the right of tranquility. I was unwilling to undergo the harrowing. I find this state agreeable.
If you say so.
Tranquility has its merits. I see the world with clarity. I remember the days when my mind was filled with inconvenient and seething emotions. Now things are simple.
And now you are no longer a person. Well... what was becoming tranquil light?
I was ordered to never speak of it. I cannot go against the Circle's wishes. It is difficult to describe. I would perhaps compare it to being plunged into a pool of ice-cold water.
Sorry, I can't really select this one. Because, you know, does emotions really define who a person is? That, yeah. I'm not gonna say that, so.
Very well. Goodbye.
The tranquil.
Good day to you.
Today I shall be making more potions to send to the mages at Ostagar.
Okay. Let's see.
Welcome to the Circle stockroom of magical items. My name is Owain. How may I assist you?
What can I buy here?
The stockroom is not a shop. Your mentor should have clarified this. The stockroom stores components used in magical and alchemical experiments. Do you require something?
I don't need anything.
Very well. Goodbye.
I mean, give me everything you have. Alright. That heads back down. We got a doorway over there. We got a doorway over there. Let's go with this one over here for the time being.
And so I shall.
Senior Enchanter.
You're not going to keep the first enchanter waiting, are you?
Yep. Completely, because there's nothing saying that I have to. I have to rush off to him, or at least there's no like time limit. Which reminds me.
If I were you, she's been rather testy lately. Who knows? I'm not going to ask her why she's irritable. Women hate those kind of questions.
Okay. Which reminds me, before in the Fade, when they were basically saying, hey, you know, the Templars are gonna kill you if you take too long. I always find those kind of things hilarious because they don't actually put a time limit on some of these quests. Like, if I left the game on overnight, for example, or you know, just like left the game on for like 48 hours or whatever, you know, it's a super long time, right? Most games, you know, would basically say, hey, you can continue on without any problems whatsoever. You know, at least you know some games do that. It's like, you know, hey, there's something stressful that you need to handle within a certain period of time. Otherwise, there's really negative consequences if you leave it alone or something along those lines. You know, or if you leave it alone, there's going to be, you know, negative consequences. So you really need to kind of take care of this, you know, as soon as you possibly can, right? Like, for example, like Subnautica, if anybody's played that, you know, there's a point where it's like, you know, you need to clean up the radiation from the ship in 24 hours, or there's going to be negative consequences if you don't, right? Well, I mean, you could just completely ignore the ship altogether, and sure, the radiation does, you know, actually, I don't know if like the radiation like continues to spread throughout like the entire map. I don't know if they actually did that or not. It'd be interesting if they did, you know, but I've never seen anybody actually test that out. Um, to the point where like radiation will eventually like reach like the shallows, for example. Um, but you know, the 24 hours, yeah, that doesn't really matter all that much, you know. Um, so, hey, thank you for the follow there, Tenor Moon. Appreciate it. Um, so it I find it hilarious sometimes where um you know, they say, hey, you have a certain amount of time or there's consequences, and yeah, the no consequences happen whatsoever. You know, if anything, I would have said, hey, if you stayed in this like tutorial area for an hour, but you know, like in like actual like time of, you know, like that whole beginning area in Dragon Age, for example. You know, granted, it took me a little bit of time, but like if it took like 2 hours time or something like that, like have some actual negative consequences to it. Like, you know, hey, um, you know, if you stay too long in there, then the Templars would actually kill you. So, want to know something? Sure. Well, it depends. What are you planning on telling me? No spoilers. Because I haven't played this game before. Okay, we got ourselves a storage cabinet over there. Okay, let's go steal what's inside here. Ooh, okay, we got some frost rock, whatever this is. Small bonus to cold resistance for a short time. Okay, nice. Small amount of health. I don't know why, but I decided to refollow all the pupils from my old Twitch account. Okay. I I don't know what your old Twitch account is, so I'm assuming that I'm one of them. Okay. Potential elixirs. Okay, that's nice. Let's see. After chewing a deep mushroom, the user regains a small amount of stamina. Gain no benefit from deep mushrooms. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think there's any kind of. Oh, there is some capacity. Gotcha. Okay. Um. So there will, you know, I'll have to be careful with how much I take on that. Good to know. Good to know.
Ah, it's great to see you. It's always sad when an apprentice fails the harrowing.
Okay. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. Age.
This is infuriating. Another batch destroyed. Say, have you seen Owain? Is he in the stockroom?
Why would he be anywhere else?
Oh, excellent. He wasn't there last I looked. I hope he still has some cinnabar lying around. When I asked last week, he said he was running out. Don't you have something better to do?
Doesn't this guy seem charming? Okay, I don't really see anything else here that I can steal from, so.
Greetings. I'm glad your harrowing went well.
Who are you?
I am Cullen. I was to strike the killing blow if you had become an abomination. I am glad you didn't.
I thought all Templars liked killing mages. Everybody has a job to do. How are you known if I become one? I'm actually kind of curious about that.
Honestly, I've never seen an abomination, or been called on to slay one. As I said, I've never seen one, but when someone becomes an abomination, something must happen.
That's not
Well,
really
it's not obvious.
reassuring that they don't really
Could
know.
abominations be walking among us right now?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't necessarily want him getting paranoid either. Chronic Templar is so easily frightened. That's not a great question. Oh my God, none of these options are great. That's the one problem with the RPGs like this is that you're very limited about your
This is still new
speeches.
to
So
me. Maybe one day I'll be as dedicated and driven as Knight Commander Gregor. You must be busy. Perhaps we can talk another time.
so here's I understand for RPGs they can only put in so much dialogue into the game. I mean, they can't predict dialogue for every single person out there, because everybody can handle a situation differently. Um, but still, like, in regular like tabletop RPGs, you can just have fun with your dialogue or something like that. You can take it one way, you can take it another way, whatever, right? Um, for these kind of dialogues, it's like, okay, well, you got to choose with what you're given, and it's like, okay, well, sometimes the choices aren't always fantastic. Okay, we got some shelves.
Delighted.
Private documents, huh? Sure. I'll take those private documents. I'm sure that I'll find, I won't have any problems whatsoever with who those actually belong to. Yeah.
I wonder how the King's army fares at Ostagar. I've heard talk of a new blight.
Okay. No idea what that means, but sure. Wait, there's a door. What the hell? Oh, it's showing that that's highlighted there. Okay. Lyrium dust. Uh-huh. Take all that. Oh, I thought this was highlighted as well. I guess not. Okay, don't really see anything else there. Sure, moving on. Let's see. Mage.
Ah, there you are. You are to be moved out of the apprentices' dormitory, and these are to be your new quarters. The Tranquil will move your belongings this afternoon. Go on, make yourself comfortable.
All right.
Apprentice Cull. Cloth helmet. Ah, nice. Let's see. Equip that. Oh, jeez. That doesn't look great. But, I mean, equipment is equipment. Okay. Some more black venom. There we go. I mean, Titan, if you're still there, I was kind of curious as to what your old account was.
I heard that you completed the harrowing in record time.
but record time. Okay, that's interesting.
I never thought you'd survive the harrowing. You got lucky, didn't you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah. Lucky. Yep. Nothing there. Okay. Moving on. Okay.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't hear you come in. I'm sorry. I'm terribly busy right now. I have to prepare the room before the Grey Warden is done at his meeting with Irving. They are an order of brave and noble warriors, sworn to give their lives to defeat the Darkspawn. You know, I almost became a Grey Warden once.
Mm-hmm.
There were several of us chosen, though the Grey Wardens only wanted one recruit. They only ever have one mage, you see. I think they thought I was the best candidate, but I was young and foolish, and I said I wasn't interested. They picked someone else instead, and that was that. I've regretted it ever since. Oh well, I should get back to my work. Good day.
Okay, nothing else to speak of. Sure. Interesting that he said that the Grey Wardens only had one mage. Okay. Don't really see anything else there. Aha, we're back. I'm on the other side of the tower now. That's awesome.
That's not likely. They would do something before it came to that. Will they? I think someone's here to speak to you, Senior Torren. Hello? Were you looking for something?
What were you talking to the other mage about?
Oh, the fraternities. Groups of mages with a common agenda. I think we should all be isolationists. Stay in some remote mountain town far away from the mundanes who hate us.
Why don't you go off then? So, so you can be, I agree to be an isolationist. Do something, I guess, say something that would be the exact opposite, I guess.
They'll never learn that. They don't want to. I'd go hide alone in the wilds if I could. But you know they just brand me an apostate and hunt me down. There is no leaving the circle. It's till death do us part. Romantic, isn't it?
Oh, very.
If you leave the circle, you become an apostate. And the punishment for leaving is death. Pretty grim, huh?
Very. It's a punishment well deserved. Why would anyone leave the circle? Well, I mean, to have some form of freedom.
I've heard of hedge witches who've managed to survive on their own, eluding the circle for a lifetime. But if the Templars discover them, well, you know what happens. Then there are stories about the Dalish elf clans having great magic. But who knows what's truth and what's fiction when it comes to the Dalish?
Who are you?
I'm Njal, a mage just like you. I've seen you around, haven't I? I must have. If you leave the circle, you become an apostate. and the punishment for leaving is death. Pretty grim, huh? The grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it? It's better to never be brought to the circle than to try to escape it. I wouldn't risk it, though. I've heard of hedge witches who've managed to survive on their own, eluding the circle for a lifetime.
They keep on focusing on this particular gentleman.
You know what happens. Then there are stories about the Dalish elf clans having great magic. But who knows what's truth and what's fiction when it comes to the Dalish? Alright, have a good day.
Why it kept on focusing on Senior Enchanter Torn, I don't really know, but...
Hello. Congratulations on your harrowing last night. Good work. Ah, the fraternities of the Enchanters. You probably haven't heard of them. It's best not to get tangled up in circle politics. More trouble than it's worth, really. They're found in all circles throughout Thedas. Groups of enchanters who hold similar viewpoints, who band together to make their voices heard. The most influential fraternity are the Equitarians. They are moderates and believe in a code of conduct that all mages should adhere to. Then there are the Chantry apologists, the Loyalists. The Chantry says something and they follow it to the letter. The Lucrosians just want to make money. And the Isolationists would like us all to be hermits and live on an island. Then, of course, there are the Libertarians. They want more power for the Circle, more autonomy. Huh. Well, if I had to, I'd say I was an Equitarian, but I ducked out of the fray a long time ago. Most of the senior enchanters are Equitarians. Irving, Wynne, Sweeney. Ulrid's a Libertarian, and a loud one at that. Mages have enough opposition from the outside without tearing our circles apart with infighting. But what can you do?
I mean, everybody has a certain viewpoint, so...
An idealist, I see. Well, if you're going to change the world, you should get started immediately. Lots of world to cover.
Aha. Focus. History of the Circle has been added to my codex. Gotcha. School's magic spirit. Gotcha. Okay. Looks like we got ourselves quite the library here to look through. Let's see, anything else here?
They say you passed your harrowing. You must be happy.
And if I was, would you be happy? Probably not.
You need something. If not, step back. You're in my light. I'm trying to study. Have some consideration for a fellow mage. Are you surprised? We are probably more attuned to magic than humans are. Or at least our ancestors must have been. With most of our history lost, I suppose I'll never really know. Maybe the Dalish elves would, but I've never met one.
Lost history?
When elves were taken on as slaves, we lost most of our culture. Few of us even know our own language. I hear the Dalish try to keep the old ways alive. Must be easier for them outside human rule. As do I. Perhaps one day I will have the chance to learn it. Are you from an alienage? I'm from a farm outside High Ever. My mother worked as the cook's assistant there.
It's none of your business where I'm from. Can't quite remember where I was from. I mean, I have no idea, so I mean, you know. No idea where Lotharing or Demrim is, so...
They must have taken you away when you were very young. I suppose it doesn't matter where we're from, does it? We're in the circle now.
True. Makes us luckier than other elves. I mean, you know, one slave to being another slave, you know, or potential other slave.
I am satisfied knowing the humans who look down upon me will fear me instead.
Oh, that's
but
not
I
great.
should get back to my books. Good day.
Fear does not help. Hierarchy of the circle. Okay.
All right.
Creation. Okay. Section of books appears to be missing. Interesting. Primal. Gotcha.
Oh, hello. I don't believe we've met. Are you new to the circle? I'm sorry. There are so many of you, and I get confused. Not to mention, these old eyes are starting to go.
Starting at said Herarticon. Oof. Maybe someone could help you fix them. I don't know the magic system enough on that one.
You're too kind. I'm old and about to fall apart.
Doesn't look
Nothing in the world can fix that.
Does not look old whatsoever.
Anyway, did you need something? I'm not good at talking. Too much chatter makes my head throb. Don't you have lessons to get to? Shoo!
Interesting fellow. Now we had some codexes for books. Nope.
And so I shall.
Ah, okay. There's one school found. Okay, it doesn't seem like there's much else there, but I'm kind of curious. You know, you know, all the schools of magic. Does it cover all of them? Okay. Okay, controls, creatures. Rage demon, gotcha. And let's see. Right. Enchanters. Hierarchy of the circle. History of the circle. The creation. Entropy, primal, spirit. I don't know if that covers all of them though. Let's see. Vibration, entropy, primal, and spirit is, I believe, covered under the arcane bolt, so primal, creation, spirit, entropy. I guess not. Okay. 4 different classifications, and then of course there's the arcane. Gotcha. Okay, so I covered all 4 of them. Gotcha. Alright, let's go. Oh wait, already been through there. Wait. Okay, apparently there was no way on that direction. Did I speak with everybody in here? Altar. Down into the chantry. Okay.
Blessed art thou who
Keely.
exists in the sight of the Maker. Blessed are the penitents who seek his return. Blessed is the prophetess, purified by flame. May the chant reach the Maker's ears and tell him of our contrition. So let it be. Oh, I didn't see you there.
Perfect.
I recite the Maker's blessings every day. It brings me peace in troubled times.
And it's troubled times? Just speaking words brings you peace. Not the best thing to say. I don't find comfort in such things. Probably not good to say to them either. Are you in trouble? Good question. Should not interrupt your meditations. Seems like she stopped them anyway, so.
No, not really. It's just I don't want to bore you with this.
It's alright, I wanted to know. Well, I mean, shouldn't really push, but. You're probably right. Goodbye. Wow.
It gives me hope that one day the Maker will hear us. That maybe I'll be forgiven and my curse will be lifted.
Curse? Your problems do not concern me. Humanity will always be tainted. Oh, okay. I don't think the Maker really cares. Wow, some of these statements.
Magic? What else?
Oh. Okay. Magic is a curse to her. Magic has made me suffer too. Okay. You're being foolish. Magic is a gift. Oh boy, that's conflict right there. You don't like having this power? I mean, sure. Magic isn't a curse. Depends on how you look at it.
Magic causes such misery. It's dangerous and vile and wicked. The Chantry must protect the world from us. Being born with something so terrible must be a punishment. I wish I could be rid of it.
I mean, there is a way to get rid of it, if you want to get rid of your emotions too. It has to be made tranquil. Oops, exactly. So do I, but I may do. I mean, why would I pick a mage if I really wanted? It's like, hey, I wanted to be a mage, but don't want to be. It's like, wait, what? You use your abilities to help people. I mean, that's true. Help you succeed in turning the Maker's gaze on you. I mean, sure. Only a fool would not appreciate this talent. Alright, not great. I I mean, she seems like she doesn't want her abilities whatsoever. I mean, I could try to persuade her to think otherwise, but I mean, she seems like she's very set in her ways. So sometimes it takes a lot to try to get past um, a very rigid viewpoint like that. So
That takes the magic from me? It does, doesn't it?
someone like you's been around. Oh wow, ouch. Um, it also takes away your ability to feel. I mean, that's something that I should mention there. You should discuss this with your mentor. Probably not. I mean, Trencher would appreciate one less mage running about. Oof. I may do this one.
I had heard that, but life without magic is so tempting. I should go. My mentor only allows a few minutes each day for religious contemplation.
You really should use your gifts to help others, you know. Even though she sees it not necessarily as a gift. That's that mental problem there. You know, she sees it, like she said, as a curse, so the blight. Interesting. The maker. Okay. Where are you?
I heard about your harrowing. Congratulations. Andraste must have smiled upon you.
Who's that? Alright. Oop.
Many have already gone
Oh,
to Ostagar.
here we go.
Wynne, Aldred, and most of the senior mages. We've committed enough of our own to this war effort.
Your own? Since when have you felt such kinship with the mages, Gregor? Or are you afraid to let the mages out from under Chantry's supervision, where they can actually use their maker-given powers?
How dare you suggest?
Gentlemen, please. Irving, someone is here to see you.
If it isn't our new brother in the circle. Come, child.
This is...
Yes, this is he.
Well, Irving, you're obviously busy. We will discuss this later.
Of course. Well, then, where was I? Oh, yes, this is Duncan of the Grey Wardens.
Is this why you had me summoned? Pleased to meet you. Grey Warden in Tower. What's he doing here? Don't just go with pleased to meet you.
You've heard about the war brewing to the south, I expect. Duncan is recruiting mages to join the king's army at Ostagar.
Actually, I had no idea about the war brewing in the south. And recruiting mages? Sure, okay. Makes sense. Who are we fighting?
The Darkspawn threat grows in the south. We need all the help we can get.
Darkspawn are a dwarven problem? Oh well, that's a narrow viewpoint right there.
The power you mages wield is an asset to any army. Your spells are very effective against large groups of mindless Darkspawn. I fear if we don't drive them back, we may see another blight.
Duncan. You worry the poor lad with talk of blights and darkspawn. This is a happy day for him.
We live in troubled times, my friend.
We should seize moments of levity, especially in troubled times. The harrowing is behind you. Your phylactery was sent to Denerim. You are officially a mage within the circle of magi.
My leash, oof. That's it after throwing me to the wolves. Okay.
You may not remember, but blood was taken from you when you first came to us. This blood is preserved within a phylactery.
So they can be hunted if they turn apostate.
We have few choices. The gift of magic is looked upon with suspicion and fear. We must prove we are strong enough to handle our power responsibly. You have done this. I present you with your robes, your staff, and a ring bearing the Circle's insignia. Wear them proudly, for you have earned them.
That's all I get? Oh boy, okay. What happens now? About it to be part of the circle. I mean, I don't know. There's something about it that's you know, I'm feeling a lot of alarm bells going off right at the moment, but
It goes without saying that you shall not discuss the harrowing with those who have not undergone the rite. Now then, take your time to rest, or study in the library. The day is yours.
I prefer to talk now.
Impetuousness is ever the province of youth, I see.
I will return to my quarters.
Would you be so kind as to escort Duncan back to his room, child?
Nope. Does Duncan not know where his quarters are? I mean, he probably does. Probably better than you. It would be my pleasure if I must. I mean, it's not really giving me a choice of saying no, so...
The guest quarters are on the east side of this floor, close to the library. Now, if you'll both excuse me, I have matters to discuss with Gregor.
Thank you for walking with me. I'm glad for the company.
Let's just move along. I wanted to talk to you a little more. I didn't have much choice. Always done with urban ass of me. Yeah. I want to talk to you a little bit more.
Yes? What about?
Have there been many darkspawn attacks?
A horde has formed within the Korkari Wilds in the south. If they are not stopped, they will strike north into the valley. We Grey Wardens believe that an archdemon is leading the horde. Darkspawn do attack the surface in ragtag bands, but archdemons are capable of rallying the Darkspawn, turning them into an unstoppable force. A horde of Darkspawn, a veritable army. It is dire news indeed. I fear this is what we will have to face.
Let's see. Thought the Darkspawn were destroyed in the last blight. Heard that about Darkspawn sightings, but an entire horde. We should continue on our way. And the king is mustering an army to beat back this threat. Let's see.
Yes, perhaps it will be enough if we play our cards right. It is not my place to comment.
Okay. Per persuade? Oh, yeah. What? What does persuade fall under? So typically, you know, you know, these kind of persuasions requires you know, a certain amount of the character abilities or like the intelligence and whatnot. They don't think there's a persuade in that, so probably would have been fantastic if they actually show like which one it uses, like cunning, for example.
As I said, it is not my place.
Okay. And tell me about the Grave Wardens, can't you?
A horde has formed within the Korkari Wilds in the south. If they are not stopped, they will strike north into the valley. We Grey Wardens believe that an archdemon is leading the horde.
Okay. That the Darkspawn have been driven
We
away.
can't seem to eradicate them completely. Somehow they always come back. They usually move around in small groups, but there are always more of them, lurking underground, biding their time.
Thought the Darkspawn was destroyed in the last blight. Sure, let me.
We can't seem to eradicate them completely. Somehow they always come back.
All right. I guess that's it.
Avoiding a problem does not make it disappear. The Darkspawn are a real threat we cannot ignore. But standing around talking solves nothing. Let us go.
Don't dawdle.
Okay. See if there's something here for me to take. Any books for me to read or anything along those lines? No. Oh, okay. I was kind of hoping. Normally, like spacebar allows for you to jump, so that's what I pushed. But no, it's to pause in this particular case. Okay, what's this?
Move along now.
What? You're not even gonna tell me what's on the third floor? Oh well. Alright, so we're going across to the other side. Alright, so over here apparently.
Thank you for escorting me.
Sure. Okay, apparently I've been kind of looking for you, but you weren't anywhere to be found. And suddenly you show up?
Is there something else I can do for you?
What's happening outside the tower? I mean, he's already kind of explained that, so how many mages have joined the king's army? I'm kind of interested in that. Have you seen someone use blood magic? That's something curious. Do you know anything about the Tranquil?
When the king sent out the call, the Circle of Ferelden sent only 7 mages to Ostagar. I asked King Kaelin's permission to come and seek a greater commitment from the Circle.
Why doesn't the king come himself? I mean, yet no. How many mages could you possibly need? I mean, if you got a horde, probably a lot.
I hope to place a mage or 2 within every contingent. I cannot do with just 7. Mages will make all the difference in this battle. The Darkspawn have their own magic, and our resources must exceed theirs.
Do you think I could join the army? I mean, handful of mages cannot be that useful. I mean, no, that's incorrect. But I mean, I don't really necessarily like the friendly fire of their spells anyway. But you know, if you throw a lot of fireballs into the mix, then it'd probably be doing a lot. So, will you fight with the king?
Of course, but I am no mage. Mages heal. They can call fire and ice down upon the enemy, and so much more. I sometimes wonder if the Chantry's many laws regarding magic are necessary. Darkspawn are a greater threat than blood mages, even abominations. It takes decades for the world to recover from a blight. I wish the Chantry could see that. We must stop at nothing to defeat the Darkspawn. Listen to me. An old man's rantings can't be very interesting. You are too kind.
Let's see.
Once, in my youth, just after I joined the Grey Wardens, I was traveling with my mentor. We encountered a group of Templars hunting a blood mage. They were quite far away, so I cannot be sure of what I saw. He forced some of the Templars to turn on their fellows. It was dreadful to behold. He would have escaped had he not overlooked one Templar who snuck up behind him and cleaved his head in two.
Oof. I wish I had that power. Oh yeah, you're you're just basically asking for someone to kill you. Blood magic is evil. Again, depends on how you use it. I'm sure he was just trying to survive. Both of these are not great, or at least it doesn't like it puts a very negative look upon my character if I said either one of these two. And, you know, blood magic is evil is like I don't know enough about blood magic to say one way or another on that. So, I mean, if you can use it against Darkspawn, would not be good. I mean,
It is something to consider, certainly.
Okay, know anything about
the
the
mages whose connection to the Fade has been severed? Why do you ask?
I'm curious as to what non-majors think of it.
It keeps them and those around them safe. Perhaps the sacrifice is worthwhile. I cannot say. Certainly. I am intimately familiar with these subjects, after all. Our duty is to battle Darkspawn wherever they appear. We are elves, humans, and dwarves united by this common purpose. Some of our most honored wardens have been elves. The hero, Garahel, the last warden to slay an archdemon, was one such. The Darkspawn threaten everyone. They do not distinguish between the races, and neither should we. Has being an elf in the circle been difficult?
I wouldn't know.
It is hard to change perceptions. I've tried to reason with many, and failed. If one has always seen elves as less than human, it's hard to imagine them as something else.
I'm a mage now. People should fear me. Yeah, no. It's not fair. Yeah, but, yeah. Don't care what others think of me. I mean, that's one way of going about doing it.
Do not let that discourage you. Let it temper you and make you stronger.
That's always a good way of looking at it. Have there been many darkspawn attacks?
A horde has formed within the Korkari wilds in the south.
Oh, jeez. Are you going to repeat
If
this
they are not
again?
stopped, they will strike north into the valley.
I would have figured
We
that
Grey
you had
Wardens
something
believe that
different.
An archdemon is leading the horde.
Okay. Well, I haven't selected this one yet.
Darkspawn do attack the surface in ragtag bands, but archdemons are capable of rallying the Darkspawn, turning them into an unstoppable force. A horde of Darkspawn, a veritable army. It is dire news indeed. I fear this is what we will have to face.
There we
Of
go.
course. Don't let me keep you.
Okay. I've already kind of checked this room. Let's see. Okay, so I have two different magic staffs right at this moment in time. And they both look like they do about the same amount of, damage per se overall. The only difference is the +1 magic and +2 spell power. But I don't know. I mean, +1 magic is for the attribute, but +2 spell power, I don't know what that's all about. So, okay, so I have apprentice robes and I have mage robes. So mage robes is better overall than apprentice robes. So we're going to set that up. We got a ring steady. We'll go ahead and equip that. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything else. I mean, what's better, +1 magic or 2+ spell power? I don't really know what the difference would be. Let's see. Increases spell power by 1 for each point purchased. Okay. So a +1 to magic will just mean a +1 in spell power. So, but what does spell power do overall? Spell power increases the effectiveness, duration, and damage of spells as well as staff damage. Interesting. Okay, so so other than the fact that, having a +1, magic would also help out with mental resistance, overall the spell power is probably my better choice out of the two because it at least adds, to more, potential damage for the spells and the like. So, so I look at this and I see the magic staff, iron, is the +1 for magic, but overall I think the acolyte staff is better overall. So I think I'll go ahead and keep with that one. And there wasn't any additional like weapons or armor or anything along those lines, so okay.
I'm glad I caught up to you. Are you done talking with Irving?
I think I am for now.
I need to talk to you. Do you remember what we discussed this morning?
As time passed that quickly.
We should go somewhere else. I don't feel safe talking here.
Seem a little on
I've
edge.
been troubled. I'll explain. Come with me, please. We should be safe here.
All right, what's going on?
A few months ago, I told you that I met a girl. This is Lily.
Sure. An initiate that's forbidden. Okay. I was beginning to doubt her existence. Oof, ouch. This fat cow is your oh, wow. Wait, what? Huh? I'm sorry. She's not fat at all. What the fuck? What is this option there? My condolences, Lily. Oh, ow. God damn. Okay, let me pick one that's actually kind of that allows for some amount of progress of the storyline without like giving emotional damage to everybody else. My God.
So you can see why we wish to keep it a secret.
Lily's been given to the Chantry. She's not allowed to have relations with men. If anyone finds out, we'll both be in trouble.
She's been given to the Chantry? And I don't know, man. This is really, this world seems very messed up right at the moment. You know, slavery. I mean, don't get me wrong. Unfortunately, the world has had a lot of problems with slavery and ownership and the like. You know, giving women over to lords and the like. Selling people off as property. It's all kind of messed up. So I mean, the fact that this is also happening in this particular game is kind of leaving a really nasty taste in my mouth right at the moment. But you bring me here just to talk about your affair. I mean, probably not. You can trust me. I won't tell anyone. That sounds like a good one. You should rethink this relationship. That's not a good one. Love will conquer all. I mean, with how much, you know, of a grip that, you know, these societies have, you know, Circle and Chantry, appears that it probably won't cover that and conquer that. And you only have yourself to blame. That's not great.
Thank you. I knew you'd stand by me.
So what is this all about? Canon brought me here to chat about love. Great. Get married, have some kids. Truly have for free both. I mean, sure, but I mean, this one's a better question. So, great, get married, have some kids. Kind of go now is really. I mean, I'm apparently, you know, they tried to say that, you know, you two are friends. They really should have given me, or here's one of the problems that I have with some of these games. They throw you into these characters without like giving you, without providing a proper backstory in some of this. So like, hey, these two are supposed to be friends. Well, I mean, based off of this question here, no, or based off of just some of the options that you can definitely give the impression that you're not friends at all. And it's like, I don't know, it's just weird. So.
Remember I said that I didn't think they wanted to give me my harrowing? I know why. They're going to make me tranquil. They'll take everything that I am from me. My dreams, hopes, fears, my love for Lily. All gone.
What does this have to do with me? But if you can't feel, then you can't feel sad about it. Ouch. That sounds terrible. It's better than dying. I mean, no, that's not better than dying, so that's bad choice. Sounds terrible is, better choice. I mean, what does this have to do with me is crass, but
I need to escape. I need to destroy my phylactery. Without it, they can't track me down. We need your help. Lily and I can't do this on our own.
Give us your word that you will help, and we will tell you what we intend.
Oh. Okay. That's... Okay, so this is... Oh boy, okay. So there's a lot going on here that's very problematic in this. So from what I understand, magic in this particular world can be corrupted. You can, kind of be corrupted by, like the darkspawn or whatnot, demons, so that they can kind of control you. Now, harrowing is kind of meant for you to kind of combat that, or the Templars are meant to like kill you afterwards, so you know, um, but he's apparently not going to be given that choice, which makes me wonder, why not, what's the reasoning behind not giving him that choice, right? What is it about him that basically says, hey, he's not ready yet. Why focus on forcing tranquility on him? What's going on there? Why? You know, then again, how does he know that he's going to be made tranquil? Again, I don't know. They're throwing a lot of information at me right at this moment in time, and it's like, okay, well, I'm already not really that happy with how they're like portraying the circle. But at the same time, I can kind of I can understand, like, if mages are people that can turn into these, like, demons or whatnots, in a blink of an eye and, just start killing everybody around them, then, you know, um, then having him run off on his own, you know, puts him and everybody around him in danger of, you know, like if he was to change, you know, over to a darkspawn, for example, then he's gonna potentially kill her off and anybody around him. hence the reason why, you know, they want to do the harrowing for mages. Although I have no idea how harrowing, you know, is meant to keep him from, you know, having that happen. Again, don't know. There's a lot of information being kept here. The fact that she was given over the chantry was, again, very odd, you know, set of circumstances going on there that I'm not very familiar with. And, like, can't she just go to the chantry and say, no, really, I don't want this anymore, please, you know, please remove these from me so that I can, you know, marry the person that I love, kind of thing. But again, he, you know, he's still at risk of being put tranquil. It's like, oh boy. And of course, if I try to help them out and doing this little escape, then I'm putting myself at danger too. You know, getting myself put at risk by the circle and the chantry at the same time. Oh boy. Why are you trying to set me right now, their game? This is, you know, I mean, it's, on one hand, I get it. They're trying to, you know, oh, I'm not well enough versed in the world to know, like, you know, hey, you know, if these two do escape, you know, does that cause, you know, like a major danger in the world? Is, you know, would he turn into my, you know, uh, like, you know, the worst arc demon out there, and therefore I'm gonna have to combat him later? You know, I don't know. I don't know. Um, let me look at the options here. Yeah, my word lily to help them out. Not sure. What do I get out of helping you? That's a bad take. I need to think this over. Understandable with everything that they're asking you to do. But can't you explain everything to someone? Well, I mean, you can try. That's definitely an option. Can't be involved in this, sorry. I mean, you can definitely select that if you don't really care about, you know, him as a friend. So, I mean, that's definitely an option. You know, same for this.
If we tell anyone, Lily will be punished. If you care about what happens to me, help us.
Again, it's definitely something that's like, hey, can she just go ahead and, like, say, hey, I don't want this situation. I don't want whatever I'm in anymore. Get me out of here. But okay, I'll see where this leads.
Thank you. We will never forget this.
And this is probably gonna kill the both of them off. I don't know.
I can get us into the repository, but there is a problem. There are 2 locks on the phylactery chamber door. The first enchanter and knight commander each hold 1 key. But it is just a door. There is power enough in this place to destroy all of Ferelden. What's a door to mages?
I once saw a rod of fire melt through a lock. You could get one from the stockroom, but Owain doesn't release such things to apprentices.
We should stay here. 1 mage at the stockroom will attract less attention than a mage, an apprentice, and an initiate. Good luck. Our prayers go with you.
Well, they're really, well, I mean, okay, so there was only really one quest for me to select. So, you know, what would have happened if I basically said, nope, nope, not going through with it? Don't know. Alright, well. What's this over here? Got another quest.
Yes?
Who are you?
Senior Enchanter, Leora, in charge of the Circle's laboratory. Is there something you want?
What's that door over there?
That leads to the Circle's cavern storerooms. There are caves running through the rock that the Circle is built upon. But of course, you know this.
Of course! Can I look inside the cavern?
No, I can't let anyone in there just now.
Oh, okay.
There are just things in there that I would prefer to keep safe.
Mm-hmm.
Sensitive magical materials and substances, of course. I am in the midst of stock taking, checking inventory, and I can't let anyone in there in case they mess things up. Yes.
Of course.
Quite a while. Don't wait up.
Alright, something in there. I'm telling Irving. So why don't you add here and not in there? I'll leave for now.
Day.
I'm sure that there. It seems like this is like the next step in the fire rod. So let's see.
Welcome to the Circle's stockroom of magical items. My name is Owain. How may I assist you? Rods of fire serve many purposes. Why do you wish to acquire this particular item?
What can the rods be used for?
Some mages require them for their research. Others merely want to light fireplaces.
Can the rods melt through metal locks? Not exactly the question to ask. I anticipate having to light a fireplace. I need rods for my research into burning things. Yeah, that's clever. Let me do
I will
this
set
one.
down that you require the rod to deal with a personal matter. Here is the form, Request for Rod of Fire. Have it signed and dated by a senior enchanter. I will release a rod to you once I have the signed form.
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. First Enchanter Irving has a quest there. I'm suspecting that you know, she has more going on there than, but I don't necessarily want to push that either, so.
I trust you saw Duncan back to his quarters?
Of course, First Enchanter. Yes, and it was a utter waste of my time. How nice. Yes, why did you ask me to do that?
I wanted you to meet Duncan. He's a most honorable man.
He seemed a man like any other. Okay. He spoke a little. He puffed up and full of himself. Oof. Um, I agree. It was my privilege to have met him.
I'm glad you did. He must have told you about the Grey Wardens. We can learn much from them. Now, did you need something?
Here we go. You know what? Okay, so if I ask him this, then he's gonna be like, wait, what are you talking about? Or, you know, how does he know that he's being made tranquil? Blah, blah, blah. So...
When he is ready. And how does he know this? I suppose the young initiate he dallies about with revealed it to him. You think I didn't know? I did not become first enchanter by keeping my eyes and ears shut. Gregor says he has proof and eyewitness testimony that Jowen has been practicing blood magic. I cannot say more. Were it left to me, things might be different. But the Chantry, I'm sorry, child. This rite of tranquility will happen. Let us not speak ill of my colleague. Our colleague. You know little of this, and I ask you to hold your tongue.
Planning to excuse it. Let's not state that right away.
Perhaps one day you will see it from my side.
Interesting that there's still like an exclamation point on him, as though there's still like a quest marker that I can still get from him. Okay, well, they mentioned the fact that they feel like he's doing blood magic.
I hate waiting. It makes me nervous. Really? What?
Why do they want to make you tranquil? I mean, that's a good question, but not specific as to the blood magic, so...
A rumor is spreading that I've dabbled in blood magic. That's why they won't let me take the harrowing. I've been sneaking around to meet Lily in secret. Maybe others have seen me and assumed I must be doing something forbidden. I suppose we are, but they think it's blood magic, and it isn't. I've thought about it, but it will only make things worse. Lily will be punished. I can't do that to her. Maybe if it were just Irving, he'd spare me. But he has to keep the peace between the Circle and the Chantry. If he stirs up too much trouble, they might replace him. They could wipe out the entire Circle if they wanted. The Chantry abhors blood magic. That's why they're willing to pay attention to this stupid rumor.
You know where your family is? I mean, what kind of question is this?
No, and I don't care. Why? I came here a year or so before you did. I must have been 5 or 6 years old. Mother stopped talking to me after I showed signs of magical ability. She wouldn't even look at me. She'd mutter under her breath that I was a demon child and an abomination in the Maker's sight.
Okay.
Mother could be cruel, especially if you got on her bad side, which was easy to do. She'd fight with my father, saying that she didn't want that thing, meaning me, in her house. Guess that's what drove him to leave me at the village chantry. I suppose it's just as well. It's the past. Are you ready to go?
Okay. I mean, I could spell it out for him over there that, you know, they're planning on escaping, but let's not do that just yet. Let's see, you know, she was hiding in a lot. She was very nervous, so.
Yes? Because I am taking a break. I hate the musty smell of caves, and ugh. Look, I'll tell you the truth. Just keep it to yourself. There is an infestation of spiders in the caves. I don't know how they got in there, but it's probably my fault. I was promoted to senior enchanter less than a fortnight ago, and I don't want anyone to find out. They'll think I'm incompetent.
I mean, that's one way of going about doing it. Sign this form, I'll deal with the spiders. Um, that's rude. Do you need any help?
I could use some, I'm sure. I've been too busy with my new duties. I haven't been able to deal with the spiders. If you cleared them out for me, I would owe you a favor. A big one.
What about signing this form?
You need a rod of fire. Interesting. Well, your proposal sounds fair. Clear out the storerooms and I will sign your form. Wonderful. Here is the key. Oh, and be careful in there. I'd really like to keep the damage done to the Circle's property to a minimum.
Okay. I was wondering about that. Now, Irving's quest is still available, but it's time for me to close up shop here, there, folks. So I think, we're gonna go ahead and pause it right here for next week. Let's go ahead and save the game. There we go. Page run. There we go. Okay. I want to see, like, I want to see if there's anything, like, if there's some option that Irving is offering here. So, you know, right now we're on like a path to break in to get that vial, to break it so that they can escape out into the wild and stuff like that. That's really dangerous. The other means of trying to handle this is trying to get, um, what's his name? I'm not remembering their name. Sorry. You to take the Harrowing, and you know, potentially everything's resolved there. If he passes it, he becomes a mage. He can leave. Granted, he'd be still taking Lily with him, and therefore still define Chantry. But I mean, the circle wouldn't necessarily be going after him if that was the case. Um, he'd just be like at odds with Chantry. So I mean, so I don't know. I feel like there's options here that's not being explored, and you know, does you know would talking with Irving open up said options? I saved it right now, so I think next week when I come back to it, I'll see like if they're if I tell them, hey, they plan on leaving, you know, would he go try to help them, or would he initiate some kind of lockdown and try to punish them or something like that? I don't really know. Um, so I'm kind of curious. Um, you know, I do like the I do like when certain RPGs allows for different paths to take. Um, now, um, here's the thing. Um, if I help them leave, then I'm putting myself at odds with the circle and Chantry. And right now, I don't necessarily like either one of them. I feel like um, both of them sound very corrupt and very like they want to just kind of hold on to their power or something like that. Um, they just want to like control, and that's not something that I'm very uh, that's something that I'm really having a hard time with. They seem to be a little too much. Like, hey, uh, you know, we're gonna control your life no matter what. And I don't know. It rubs me in the wrong way. Um, so um, I would be okay, but at the same time, I don't know what they could bring down upon me if I was to do that. Like, hey, if I do this with suddenly, leaving the tower, suddenly everybody's going to be attacking me everywhere. I wouldn't have like a moment's peace. That's dangerous. Wouldn't necessarily, can I even find a town to kind of go to even live? you know, uh, would I have to just basically forage off the lands just to survive? It's like that's gonna be rough if that's the case. You see what I'm saying? Um, so I don't know. That's my problem. I don't know enough about this game to really give a good judgment call on that. I don't know the history of the land enough to give a good um, you know, I don't know any of the history to really make a good judgment call on along those lines. Like for example, if I help them, I get found out that I helped them, and now I'm basically you know, um, basically given the black mark by both the Chantry and the Circle for you know, um, you know, being like a rebel against their cause or something along those lines, you know, then that potentially means that I'm getting hunted by everybody in both factions. Chantry with their Templars and the, mages in the circle, plus, fighting off Darkspawn. It's like everybody would be against me if, potentially. So, um, would there be a spot that I can go to that, would allow for me to rest? um, how much does the Chantry hold? How much power do they hold? How much? I mean, it sounds to me like they're like the major kingdom in this world, and if anybody goes against them, then well, good luck surviving. Um, you're gonna have Templars set upon you, and not just one. You're gonna have many of them. That Blood Mage example, for so yeah, it's I had a choice to make on that one, and I'm kind of curious as to what would happen. You know, if I was to basically explain to Irving like, hey, no, he's mentioning the fact that he doesn't study blood magic. Let's find out. Let's is there some kind of test that you could do to find out whether or not someone studies blood magic or something like that? Does he have a book on it or something? I don't know. There's just too many questions, and unfortunately, it feels like there's no one really asking the right kind of questions, and that's one of the problems that I have sometimes with RPGs. They have you railroaded. You know, I guess that's the reason why there are times where like I prefer more tabletop RPGs. um, Gives you a little bit more freedom along those lines. Granted, the you know, um, the GM could basically say, hey, you're going down this railroad no matter what you choose. Not exactly the greatest GMs, but they could definitely do that. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and stop off here. Um, I'll go ahead and upload this um, to the YouTube channel, as well as all the other videos that I have saved on my gaming PC. I'll see about creating a Mastodon account. So much to do, so little time. um, Tomorrow will be Final Fantasy VII, so if anybody has any interest in that, feel free to stop on by again tomorrow night, starting at 4 p.m. And we'll go through that again. Well, I'll explain Final Fantasy VII tomorrow. I'll just say that it's not my first time playing the game. So, but that's it. We're gonna close on down. So thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. All these videos, all these streams are eventually uploaded to my YouTube channel, so feel free to check that out if you like. Got a link down below on my Twitch about page for that. I also have links to my Discord, my Patreon, and my Twitter account down below on my Twitch about page, as well as in the description of my YouTube videos. So feel free to check those out if you're interested. Mastodon maybe later. We'll see. I have a link to my stream team down below on my Twitch about page, as well as I've been including it recently in my YouTube videos. So if you're interested in joining that team, it's all about trying to help out everybody that's there, streamers and non-streamers alike. I have sub-teams designed to provide assistance to both, streamers and non-streamers. I have sub-teams designed, for collabs, tournaments, charity events for streamers. I have sub-teams for like artists and musicians if they just want to commission out, you know, uh, their art. Um, I have sub teams for like, other things like, tech and being a moderator, for example. I have just a lot there. There's a Google document that pretty much explains everything that I would kind of want to do for the team, with the team. Um, my what I've envisioned it being. Um, we just need more people to join. So feel free to check it out. See if it's something that interests you, and fill out that application and send it in. Um, we're looking for people that are willing to lift people up, to help others. And if I find anybody that is, you know, actively bringing someone down, you know, doing like hate raids or anything along those lines, I don't want that anywhere in my team whatsoever, and I will kick them out. No, no problem. You know, if I find evidence that someone's doing a hate raid or being racist to others or something along those lines, I will kick that member out quickly. So um, we don't want that on the in Team Robot. So, but feel free to check it out if you're interested. Um, we're always looking for more members on the team. So, but that's going to be it. Um, I want to thank everybody that stopped on by, all the lurkers, um, and everybody that was chatting with me, Kermit and Titan. Thank you for stopping on by and joining me today. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll see you all tomorrow. But that's it. So, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I catch you next time. Until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy, stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time.